Alright, so this is Anthony and Cheryl. This is our first video using a walking stick or selfie stick. So it's probably not going to be very good. We're going to have to learn how to use this. We live in Coweta, Oklahoma. So when I was 13 years old, 1983, the summer of 83, I moved to Coweta. I was living in Tulsa. I was born in Tennessee, and then we moved to Tulsa when I was a kid, and then moved to Coweta in 1983. Cheryl, she lived in Oklahoma and then kind of grew up in Texas, but she moved to Coweta also in the summer of 83, and ended up going to high school.
15.
Yeah, so Cheryl was 15 years old, and I was 13 years old. So we both went to Coweta High School. We actually never knew each other, although we was in school together for several years. Cheryl graduated in 87, I graduated in 88. And we actually met working at Sonic after Cheryl graduated. I worked at Sonic during high school. Cheryl got a job right after she graduated. And then that's where we met, the summer after I graduated. We ended up getting married and moving to Tennessee, or we moved to Tennessee and got married. I had a job out there with an uncle of mine. But this video is going to really be kind of about our history of Coweta. We'll probably take several days to make this video, or several different sessions. We're going to walk around Coweta and we're going to kind of show different pictures of different buildings on Main Street and kind of tell a little bit of history about those, or at least the history that we understand and know about. And maybe some other walking in some other areas of Coweta. May take a while to make this video, and it may end up being pretty long, but the video that we're making is basically going to be our history in Coweta, and it's for our own use in the future. Kind of look back and remember, our history here. All right, so that's the opening of this video. All right, here's the donut shop on Main Street. Over the years, it's been called a lot of different things. Sticky Buns is kind of what I remember it as, but over the last 30 years, it's pretty consistently been a donut shop, just owned by different folks. So one person will buy it and they'll run it for a while, and then it closes and somebody else buys it and runs it for a while. But yep, this is the donut shop in Coweta on Main Street, and we've ate a lot of donuts here. All right, we'll start walking up Main Street now, or Broadway, I guess is what it's really called, but I always call it Main Street. Here's the donut shop again we just talked about, but we're gonna walk up Main Street from here, and you're gonna see there's actually a dentist office next door, which is kind of ironic, obviously. And then we're gonna see the old movie theater where it hasn't been open in many, many years. So as we start walking down here, actually here's a restaurant that was open for a while and it closed. Here's the movie theater. This is where I saw a lot of movies. So pretty much every iconic movie that I remember from the 80s, Breakfast Club, Footloose, Raiders of the Lost Ark, all these movies, anything that was made in the mid 80s, I saw at this movie theater. I used to go, I think Tuesday nights were $1 night. It was a really busy place on weeknights, and on the weekends, obviously, all the kids hung out here. This was probably one of the coolest places in town, but it's closed now. It's been closed many years. All right, coming up on the hardware store. It's Coweta Hardware now, but back when I was a kid, this was a True Value Hardware. It's pretty much exactly the same as it used to be, just a different name on it, but it's been here forever. All right, coming up here is a really important place for us. This is a place where it's a towing place now called Gilbert's Towing. But when we were in high school, this was a place called the Burger Hut. And to this day, I still believe that the best burgers I've ever had were in this little burger place here. Cheryl used to go there with her sisters. I used to hang out there with my friends. Best burgers in the world, as far as I'm concerned, back in the 1980s. And of course now it's gone, long gone, many, many years. And it's a towing company now. Bobby Gilbert owns this, or his family. Had to have them tow our cars many times over the years. All right, this used to be a t-shirt shop. Cheryl used to be friends with the family that owned this, and now you can look down Main Street and kind of see it a little bit more across the street. But yeah, this t-shirt shop, Cheryl, some friends owned it, and then since then it's been a antique shop many times, and most of the time it's just kind of run down and closed a little bit, but I'm not really sure who owns it now or what they're doing in there anymore, but haven't seen it open in several years. All right, here's Dixie's Cafe. This actually used to be down in a different location down by the donut shop, but they moved up here. Before that, there had been a restaurant here that had been here for a long time, well before I ever moved to Coweta. It was called the Green Parrot Cafe. It was kind of famous in Coweta, for a little cafe that had been here for a long time, but they finally went out of business, and then Dixie's Cafe took it over, and now they're in there, and it's a really great restaurant. All right here in this empty lot, believe it or not, years ago, many, many years ago, there was an Otasco Sporting Goods. I don't know if anybody remembers Otasco, but they went out of business, and then it was an antique store, and then a few years ago, way over at our house, we could hear this rumbling sound, and guess what? It fell down. One day the building just fell down. Here's some more antique stores. This store is kind of an interesting place. It's open sometimes it's not. Looking out across the street a little bit. I'm going to turn around here. There's a back way into the school, the elementary school. And then right here is this strip mall. This is a little bit newer, but again, it's been there for quite a long time. And here is a restaurant called The Good Dog. It's the place in town for chili dogs. Many, many years ago, there was another place called The Coney. It was across from the old high school out in the highway, but that's long gone, and now we have The Good Dog. And then here we are walking back towards the red light on Main Street. You can see the water towers. Now we're walking past on the other side of the strip mall there, up towards the barber shop. My son used to get his hair cut here. I've got my hair cut there a few times. Don't have a lot of hair left, so not a lot of need for haircuts anymore. I remember the first time I took my son here for a haircut. Man, he must have been 4 or 5 years old. And there were all these old cowboys in there. They were all, literally like old-timey cowboys, all with beards and mustaches. They all had cowboy gear on. This was, I guess, in the early 90s. And my son was very shy and didn't want to get his hair cut. And I had to take him outside and talk to him, and he was scared. He was just trembling, and I asked him what was wrong. And he said, I want to go. He didn't want to explain it to me. He just said, I don't want to get my hair cut. I want to leave. But then he finally told me that he said, all those boys in there, all those men, they have cowboy boots on. So for some reason, he was scared of the cowboy boots. But anyway, I was able to talk him into going back inside, that the guys were all right, and they were a lot of fun, and they ended up talking to him, and he ended up loving them, and got his hair cut, and that was the little haircut story. So here's the elementary school on Main Street, the main school there. It's a new building. You'll see some pictures of how the building looked in the old days. But yeah, my son went to elementary school here. I didn't go here because I was already actually in middle school by the time I moved to Coweta. Here's Cheryl standing out in front of the school. And then here's some pictures of the water towers. All right, now we're walking down the other side. We turned around across the street up by the school, walking down here by the fire department and the police department. This is Coweta Transit. When I was a kid, it used to be a gas station right here on Main Street, but now it's the Coweta Transit, and then this building across the street. It's been many, many things over the years. It's a real estate agency now. Pizza, gotta have pizza. All right, you saw the city drugstore. It's been there a long time. Now we're coming up on what a lot of antique stores here, you know, and then what used to be the old bank up here. They got a little thing out here for people to drop off food and stuff. But here's a neat little rock we found. There's something called 918 Rocks around here. Look into that. But here's the old bank. It's a place you can rent now. My sister got married here. One of my nieces got married, and another niece had her graduation there a couple years ago. I've done some cooking there for different people. And over here, this is a church I used to play at in high school. Played drums in a rock band there. And kind of walk. This is off Main Street a little bit, walking around looking at the old church. And then another church across the street. I've never actually been in that church. It's really pretty though. And then I think look at the post office there. Again, these are just literally right off Main Street, still kind of part of the tour. And the bank, this is where we bank still to this day. We've been there over 30 years, I guess. First National Bank of Coweta. And then again, now we're walking more down Main Street in front of the bank. Little park here. Kind of a memorial to some soldiers who've got killed in action over the years that were from Coweta. It's a pretty little park. All right, there's an empty lot. I can't even remember what used to be in there. Yeah, it's something years ago, but it's been gone for a long time. And then a couple of buildings here. There used to be a flower shop in here. Barbara's gift shop used to be in there back when I was a kid. I went to school with her son. Now it's a different kind of gift shop or whatever. And this next building is very interesting. It's a really important place. It was the video network for many, many years, back when people used to rent videos and DVDs. But now somebody's bought it and they're turning it into a restaurant. So we're really excited about it. This is same people that own a restaurant in Broken Arrow. That's really a nice restaurant, so we're really looking forward to that. And then yeah, hopefully it'll be open soon. Obviously the pandemic has slowed things down there. Kind of looking down the side street here from it. Then over here is this tie-dye t-shirt place. I haven't been in there. My mom goes there, and I think bought some shirts, and for whatever reason we just never have got around to going in there yet. Hello, doggy. Hey look, my angel got her wings. Here's another service station. Used to be on Main Street. I think somebody's got a hair salon in there now. Here's the funeral home. And then we're walking back here, back towards where we got our car parked, another park here. And again, in this park, there's some more memorials to especially to soldiers that got killed in Vietnam. Per capita, Coweta had more people killed in Vietnam than any other town in the United States. There's our car. So we'll walk through the park a little bit before we go to the car. Little splash pad for kids. It's fun in the summertime. Again, most everything's been closed down because of the pandemic. Here's some of the little markers for the soldiers. There's lots of them out here. There's a couple of them. All right, so here we are back at our house in our backyard. Most of that video was shot a couple weeks ago, and then I hurt my foot. We really weren't able to do a lot of the things we wanted to do because I wasn't supposed to be walking so much. I'm able to walk okay now, but we decided to go ahead and finish this video. We've done quite a bit of work already on it. There's a couple other things on Main Street, down at the end of Main Street, or Broadway again, where the old 7-Eleven used to be, and then it was a Come and Go, and then the Come and Go moved across the street. Now the old building is a daycare or something. Then another convenience store right there at Main Street that used to be the Jim's One Stop, and now it's called the Alamo. We would have showed that, but because people have been here in Coweta a long time, everybody's seen that or knows about those places. A lot of other things in Coweta off of Broadway and off of Main Street, but kind of Main Street has a lot of history for us, and that's our history. Some of the things that we remember. So again, we're back here in our garden, and we live maybe probably not even a quarter mile off Broadway. So we're not very far away at all. And we live over by the new high school. But that's another video for another time. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I know we will. We're using it as a document for ourselves. So when we get old and we can't remember anything, we'll be able to look at it and say, oh, that's what that building was. So anyway, thank you for watching, and see you next time.